We'll have an opening statement before following by taking your questions. Thank you. Jeff?
Good afternoon, everybody. Appreciate y'all being here today. As you all know, earlier today I met with Coach McNeil and informed him that we were relieving him of his duties as our head coach. These types of decisions are never easy. However, after observing and evaluating the program for 3 seasons, I came to the conclusion that our football team was not meeting competitive expectations, and that, in my opinion, the trajectory of the program was not going in the right direction. This decision was difficult because of who Ruffin McNeil is as a man. We have all come to know him as an outstanding person who is a great family man and a caring coach who has nurtured his team throughout his 6 seasons here at ECU. I am thankful for his dedication to Pirate Nation and his coaches and his staff who have worked hard for this program over the last few seasons. We will now begin a national search to find the next leader of the Pirate football program. I will look for our next head coach, knowing how critical this decision is to our current and former members of our football team, this university, our passionate fan base, as well as this entire region. I have no doubt there will be great interest in this job. I'm happy to take any questions.
When did you make the decision?
Earlier this week.
How did you let him know?
We met in my office today and had a conversation, rather brief, but and very professional.
So he found out then just this morning?
Yes.
Jeff, was Coach Ruff wanting to make any staff changes, or was he wanting to keep the staff the same?
As far as I know, everything would remain the same on his staff from earlier conversations that he and I had.
Jeff, there was speculation that he was asked to make changes on his coaching staff and refused to do so. Is there any truth to that rumor? And if so, was that part of the reason why he was let go?
There's no truth to that rumor. There was no request on my part or any of my staff's part for him to make changes to his staff.
You said competitive expectations, 6 bowl games in 8 years, winning overall record. What are those expectations that you have set forward?
Winning conference championships. I think those are the things that I feel are what we're striving to do as a program, and our football team and everything about it should be moving in that direction. And based on my assessment and what I believe to be the direction of the program, I didn't believe it was heading in that direction.
With the tendency with being down some this year, did that factor in at all?
I think there are a lot of factors that you see in what you're looking at as far as a program review goes. Certainly attendance is one of those, as well as and other things. But please understand, this isn't just from my this is about the direction of our program and the prospects for future success.
Jeff, if this team would have made bowl eligibility this year, would we be here right now?
That would depend on the outcome of the bowl, potentially on other factors, but certainly that would have given us more to talk about and more for me to evaluate.
Was there ever talk of having another year, saying to Coach Ruff, next year is your make or break season, rather than do it now? Because a lot of people say this is pretty sudden, and a lot of people are very shocked about it.
Yeah, I understand that, and I know that a lot of people were shocked about it, but I felt like we needed to make the decision now and not wait another year for what might be the same decision.
And I know you don't want to talk about candidates, and that's fine.
How do you know that?
Well, with that being said, is there someone on the hook, so to speak, or do you have a viable candidate or somebody you're really seriously looking at, rather than making this decision without having somebody out there that you really trust that you can get in?
There's nobody on the hook. I have a list of candidates that I'm interested in. I wouldn't be a very effective athletics director if I didn't have that list. So I do have that list. We're in the process of assessing interest and looking at possibilities, but that's something that we'll move on as soon as we can.
How are you gonna corral some of those players that, some of the current players that were really shocked about this, and there's been a lot of talk on social media of some players possibly leaving the program and going to another school?
Well, I think anytime you have a beloved coach like Coach McNeil, you're gonna have that kind of reaction from the team, and I understand that. I'm gonna meet with the team later today, and I'm gonna talk to them a little bit about my decision. I know that's not gonna be an easy meeting, but at the same time, I'm gonna talk to them about our future. And if they wanna be a part of something that helps lead to championships for our program, I want them to be a part of that and help us do that. So that's really what I'm interested in doing today. Talk to them a little bit about the process, and then encourage them to continue to do well in class, finish strong academically. That's very important for us. So I understand that this is an emotional time, but they need to really focus on how they're doing academically as well as we begin to go into exams next week.
Jeff, can you talk about some of the parameters that you're looking for in a new coach? Some of the hallmarks of things that you're kind of hoping to achieve in this new hire?
What I'm really looking for is someone who will embrace Pirate Nation and our culture and the values that we aspire to. Someone who will be a fierce competitor, not just game time, but recruiting time, all time, and will lead us to a football championship in the American Athletic Conference.
Any other
I also, I'm not quite done, I also want someone who understands the value of education and will demand academic success from their team. That is a huge component for me.
Any other off-the-field issues that led to this firing? There was some word that the coach was responding directly to fans on Twitter. Have you heard about that?
I had heard, it's not uncommon for a coach to respond to people on Twitter, but I wasn't aware of what the conversations might be. I didn't, that had nothing to do with this decision whatsoever.
You said it was a hard decision. Obviously, all decisions like this are hard.
Right.
But with it being such a popular coach, do you feel like there's added pressure on you to have made the right decision? Because if this goes awry and it turns out to be a bad decision, this falls back on you.
No doubt about that. I totally understand the gravity of my decision and everything that goes into that. That's something that I gave a lot of thought to, didn't take it lightly.
Jim, how do you juggle trying to keep the coach here, you know what I'm saying, and you get, with this job being a stepping stone type job, you look at what happened with Memphis and the coach moves on, and then you get a guy here who wants to be here. I mean, how hard is that to juggle between those two?
It is. It's a difficult juggling match in some ways, but in other ways, I think if someone comes in and can create a winning program, build a winning program, and they look at opportunities elsewhere, then it's easier for the next person to come in and continue that legacy. I've seen that happen. I've been a part of those types of decisions before, and so I know what that can mean. It means that your program is strong, and that's what we're looking for, is to build an entire program that will last, regardless as to who's the leader of it from a coaching standpoint.
Jeff, are you looking at someone with head coaching experience or someone who can come in as who's been a coordinator? What kind of experience are you looking for?
I'm really looking for somebody that's capable of making great decisions, somebody that has been a head coach, has obviously done that. Obviously, coordinators have done that. Those are important ingredients for me. Someone who has made recruiting decisions also is important for me. So those are some of the things. It doesn't necessarily have to be a head coach. Certainly, they've been in the trenches and they know what it's like. So that is appealing to me. But I've hired non-head coaches before and been a part of that process, and things have worked out really well.
Jeff, Coach Jeff Compher, strength and conditioning coach, as you know, for the football program. Is he considered part of Ruff's staff, or is he an employee of the athletic department, and does he remain?
Well, all coaches are part of our athletics department, regardless of what sport they're assigned to. Coach Connors is a part of our athletics department. He's over the strength and conditioning program for every sport, and so that's what his position is. And I wouldn't suspect that would change.
How much do you think you'll have to pay for a coach? Are you looking at?
Well, you know, it's certainly the marketplace has changed in the last few years, so we're going to be very competitive.
What was the buyout for Coach Ruff? I think he had 2 years left on his deal. How much does the university still owe him?
Well, based on what his contract reads, you know, he, at some point soon he'll revert to his base salary, which is $400,000 a year. So that will happen the rest of this year and then the next 2 years, so roughly $1 million.
Jeff, was there any outside pressure to make this decision?
None.
None at all?
None.
No boosters, nothing like that?
You know,
I mean,
this
because
is,
in the reality, that does happen.
well, in reality, you get a lot of opinions.
Right.
About things, solicited and unsolicited, and I understand that. But I felt like, regardless of the feedback that I saw or that was offered, I knew it was my decision. And the people that I spoke with indicated that they knew that as well. And so that's how the conversations went this week. But there wasn't any pressure either way.
Jeff, passion for East Carolina specifically, how difficult will it be to replace Ruffin? Because obviously you have that great amount with Ruffin in terms of his connection to East Carolina and his obviously being from Eastern North Carolina.
No doubt about it. He's a pirate. He'll always be a pirate. That kind of connection may be difficult to replace, but I think anyone who gets here, including myself, when you get here and you understand what this university is all about, what this community is all about, what this region is all about, you can be as passionate as the next person because you understand what it means to be a pirate. And when you understand that, then I think you can start building that kind of coalition with not only your staff but with this entire community, and I can see that happening.
Jeff, did Ruff have any idea he was on the hot seat, so to speak, going into the final few weeks? Did you ever maybe give him a little bit of a heads up or any kind of awareness that this could be a scenario?
I think you support your coach throughout the season, and I never went in and said you better win the next one or something. That's just not what we do. And I think what you need to do is support your coach and your team throughout the entire season, and then take some time to sit back and evaluate it.
Jeff, after losing Justin Shane, a lot of your offensive power from last year, and then your quarterback went down before the season had started, do you think Coach McNeills got really kind of a fair shot this year, or?
Well, I think that the reality of Division I football is that there's always going to be injuries, there's always going to be challenges, there's always going to be that need for the next person up mentality on your team, and I know we're not about excuses, we're about production, and I think that's really important. And so as we move forward, we just need to understand that this is about being competitive. This is about moving towards championships, and regardless of some of the obstacles in your way, there has to be some progress to that effect.
What's the realistic timetable, obviously, with it being a hot recruiting season and so many coaches, as far as you getting a hire in place?
Well, the reality is, I look today, I think there's 5 open coaching vacancies. So there's not as many as there were. A lot of the vacancies that first came up are filled. And I think there's still a lot of great candidates out there. So I'll tell you what I've said before in these kinds of searches. To quote Coach Wooden, what he used to say is, "I'll be quick, but not in a hurry." I don't want to make a hasty decision, but I do understand that you can't delay decisions when it comes to this kind of a search.
Jeff, you said you didn't have any conversations prior to this with Ruffin about him needing to win, but you did say that you stand behind your coaches. What does that tell the coaches that maybe come in, or your fan base, that you're not standing behind your coach throughout the tenure of his contract and going through this maybe rough year?
Well, I think it's a indication of what our expectations are as an athletics department and each individual sport program. I think it speaks to that in some ways. I think it also speaks to what football means to our university and our athletics department and our fan base, and how important football is to all all of us here in our athletics department, the university, everyone. So I think it speaks to that as much as anything else.
Jeff, what was his reaction?
He was very professional, and he got up and thanked me and Nick and asked a few questions and left the room.
What were those questions? Can you share those?
No, really, not at this time. I wouldn't want to do that.
Was it emotional?
No, it was not emotional. It was very professional.
Is there any concern for any setback when you come in dismissing a head coach?
Well, I think you always consider that, obviously, and what you hope is that the recruits that are out there that we've either had commitments from or that we were involved with give us the opportunity to see who might be next. I understand that that's not always the case, believe me, but I'm hoping that they see who our next head coach might be and give that coach an opportunity to talk to them.
Jeff, for fans or players or anybody that's mad or disagrees with the decision today, what would your message be to them today?
That I expected there to be some emotional reaction to this, and I expected people not to be pleased with it. That this is a decision, however, that was made not to be popular, not to win over a lot of fans with. This was a decision that was made for the future of our football program, and I hope that they understand that the direction that we want to go, winning championships, working towards playing on New Year's Day and even beyond. Those are the kinds of things that we want for our program, and that we're going to work very hard to find our next head coach that can lead us in that direction.
What kind of style are you looking for? Do you have a particular offensive style, defensive style that you're looking for in a potential coach?
A successful style.
Great answer.
We'll wrap it up. One more question.
Had a chance to talk to any coaches yet about potential opening?
No, I've not talked directly to any coaches. I did, however, meet with some of the coaches that are on staff now, the assistant coaches, talked to them briefly today. I've asked Donnie Kirkpatrick to stay on and assist. He's our recruiting coordinator. I asked him to stay on and assist with calls that we may get from recruits and others. Dale Steele and Brian Overton will also stay on administratively to help with the transition. So and all of them will have an opportunity to meet with the next head coach if they desire.
Thanks, Jeff.